It is time. Everything you want to know about London Marathon 2025 is here. But before I get on to answer the questions that everybody sent in, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for your support. I love you like you would not believe. I could not have done it without you, and I'm so grateful. I cannot believe I've done 2 marathons now. If you're new here, I am a right leg below knee amputee. Lost my leg 8 years ago when I was 20, and now I've run 2 marathons. And actually last year was the first marathon. I did London, so I've done London twice. And I won the Spirit of the London Marathon Award, which I didn't even know was a thing. Essentially, I was one of 4 people that won this award for my efforts at London Marathon last year. And bearing in mind over 60,000 people apply, like I am absolutely honoured. And it's this inside. And essentially what it means is I can run the London Marathon every single year for the rest of my life if I want to, which is such a privilege because I know how tough it is to get into it. So honestly, I'll probably be doing it every year now. You can't stop me. But anyway, let's get in to the questions. Where do we start? So Charlotte Edler asked, how far was your longest training run before the big day? So my longest training run was 15 kilometers, and that's because I left it so last minute to train. But what I was happy about was I have run more than I did this time last year, and I had done the Malaga half marathon in December, Cape Town half marathon in February, so I felt like I've had some mileage in, even though it wasn't on my official training plan, you know? But I use Cooper, the running training app, and I swear by them. That actually leads me on to another question, because somebody asked me, drum roll please, why did you leave Runna after running with them last year? So I used to use Runna, the running app, but I stopped working with them in February last year, 2 months before the London Marathon, because their plan, it didn't work for me. I got injured, couldn't walk for 3 weeks and ended up being in a wheelchair, which is obviously not ideal. So I stopped using Runna. Then obviously I was 2 months out from the London Marathon and I needed some support. So I got a one-on-one coach to help me get to the London Marathon. So I just didn't use Runna from that point onwards. And then fast forward to, I think, September last year, and I heard about Cooper, the running app, and essentially I just downloaded it, tried it, loved the plans. I've been using it now for that entire time. They helped me train for Malaga, Cape Town, and obviously now London. Never had an injury. Also, I just have to work with brands who really align with my values, and Cooper could not align with me more. Like, they're just, everybody there is so kind, so generous, so caring, such a family united feel, and that just feels like perfect for me. Also, the coaches on the app are so helpful. Whenever I have an issue or I don't know what to do or I need to change my plan, they're so supportive. And that is exactly what I need, considering I'm disabled and I have more needs. Also on London Marathon Day, Cooper, someone from Cooper called Jake, if you're watching this, love you, you're amazing, supported me on the sidelines, had various meet points that I knew he'd be at. So if I needed him, I needed my wheelchair, needed anything, he'd be there. So that honestly instilled such confidence within me when I was doing the marathon. It's funny because obviously I wanted to run the marathon alone, which I did. But there's also still so much planning that goes into running a marathon when you have a disability, and Cooper was so unbelievably helpful. I could not do it without them. They are the freaking best. I just couldn't recommend Cooper enough, and their plans are incredible. So download Cooper now, you won't regret it. If you use code PICKLES, you can get a 2-week free trial. Trial it for 2 weeks, you've got nothing to lose, no strings attached, no commitment, and then see whether you like it or not. You can also click the link in the description. So I could not recommend it enough. Someone said, I need a close-up of your nail art. So here we are. This is not my usual style. I'm very much like the minimal, classy, you know, discreet colors. But because I was wearing a blue outfit, I wanted blue. And so I went on Google and I copied this design, essentially. You won't believe though how much these cost me, right? All I went in for was, I had a broken nail, so please fix this, and just paint all of them, right? And they charged me £50. I was like, are you kidding? And when I asked why, they were like, £20 for the broken nail, 30 for the color. I was like, no, I am never coming back here again. Toilet situ. Funnily enough, I've never needed a number 1 or a number 2 when I've been racing. Very glad about that. But I think maybe as well with your sweating, so you don't end up needing a wee. How are your toes this year and your stump? So I'm actually currently wheelchair bound. Gang. Because, oh my God, this is London. This is my Lululemon top, but love that it's got London on it. That is just so fitting for this video. Yeah, in my wheelchair, because I have a little cut on my amputated leg, which means I have to wait for it to heal before I can put the prosthetic leg back on. But I honestly cannot believe that my toe did not bleed. It did not bleed once. And I 100% put that down to the shoes that I chose because, well, I didn't choose them, AI chose them. I essentially wrote to AI and said, these are all the issues that I've got. I've got 3 toes, I've got a scar here, I've got a pain in my arch, I've got da 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 da. What shoes do you recommend for running a marathon? And it gave me Hoka Bondi 9s. It gave me all the reasons as to why. I bought them, and throughout my training, my foot didn't bleed at all with them. And then I thought, the marathon is gonna be the test. And so the fact that I ran the whole marathon didn't bleed, oh, could not believe it. So they are officially confirmed to be the best shoes for me. I've never found good shoes for me in the past 8 years, so I'm very happy about that. Hoka, I don't know how you say it, but I love you. Who had / where was the spare walking leg Liam had last year? So because I ran alone, I didn't have that at all. When I had to walk with my running blade that I was currently wearing, and that meant my hips were in balance, which is not good, because the more I do that, the more likely I'll need a hip replacement in the future, because it's obviously not good to walk like this. But for the sake of that marathon, yeah, I just had to deal with it. Otherwise, I was gonna have to carry my leg as well, which is just, it's a lot. What section did you find the hardest, physical / mental? You're an inspiration. So thank you so much. What did I find the hardest? So let me give you a little rundown of the race. So the first 0 to 6 kilometers, I was pegging it. I was going so fast and I was like, Millie, slow down, because my pace that I was wanting to be was around 7:30. I was doing between like 6:15. No, that's a lie. I was doing between like 5:35 to 6:30, just going for it. And especially because London Marathon is downhill. So I was like, woo, I feel good, so I'm gonna go for it. Got to the flat bit and I was like, oh my God. Also didn't help that at 2 kilometers, I felt my leg just already wanting to slip off because of the sweat and the weather. Not ideal. So I was loving that, and then it got to, about 6 kilometers, and I was like, this is hell, this is torture. But Liam and I always say that you're running long enough to feel good and bad. Whereas now, scrap that advice, it is crap, because I felt awful the whole time. I honestly felt horrific. And what was getting me through was my family, just thinking, Millie, they're gonna be around the corner. They're gonna be around the corner. I had no idea if they were gonna be around the corner. I gaslight myself all the time when I'm running, just to trick myself into carrying on. And my mum said, oh, we're by Bermondsey Station. I had no idea where that was. But it's what's funny actually, is people say, oh, what part of the race did you find hardest? I don't know where I am at any point. I also am just so focused on what I'm doing and trying to trick my mind and be okay that I'm not really like, oh, this is Canary Wharf. Like, I actually don't know. I bumped into my friend Esme and she said, oh, that was the toughest part. I said, is it? Like, my mind, I'm just constantly trying to distract from what I'm actually doing, which is funny because I'm also present at the same time. Like when I run over Tower Bridge, that's a great moment, to be fair, that's a highlight. I was just like looking up, really taking it all in, being like, oh my God, I'm here, I'm doing this, you know? So I do have my moments of presence, but for the majority of the race, I actually don't really have a clue where I am. I'm just kind of going through the motions. But, so yeah, I struggled a lot, and just seeing my family and friends is what got me through. Just thinking, you're gonna see them soon, you're gonna see them soon. But I honestly cannot believe how well I did for the first half, even though I was struggling and I was in a lot of pain. I was around the 4:30 paces, and I thought, oh my God, like, how am I keeping up with them here? Like 4:30, 4 hours 30. I did last year in 6 hours 57. I know that I had to walk the last 8 kilometers, but I was like, how on earth am I doing that? But yeah, it was then like, it kicked in, I hit a wall. I was in a lot of pain. I was struggling mentally. My goal was originally to not walk or stop at all, which is just so overambitious, so unrealistic, especially with the heat. I kind of knew that already going in, to be honest. So I knew I'd have to take my leg off and wipe it down and carry on, because as an amputee, my leg will want to slip off. And you've got to be sensible, and you've got to check your little leg and make sure it's all okay, especially me, as I have, you know, I have no idea what's actually going on. If something externally hurts me, I don't know. It's strange. So I have to check my leg a lot. The only way I'll ever be able to run without stopping or walking is if it was on a good day and the environment and the weather and everything was all aligned with me. Yeah, I had to keep stopping, keep walking. And I'm so proud of myself for actually allowing myself to do that as well, because I just am. It was tough, it was so tough. I honestly have never had to fight my mind so much in my entire life. Obviously I dealt with losing my leg well, and going through that trauma, and you struggle mentally, but it's in a completely different way to running. Like with the run on Sunday, I say that like it's not a long run, the marathon on Sunday, it's like learning how to deal with your mind when your mind 24/7, 20 billion 5/7, like is constantly going, you can't do this, I'm struggling, stop. And it's like having a devil and an angel on your shoulders, and your angel's like, no, keep going. And it's funny, it's like, if I had to put an age on it, as my therapist told me to try and do, it's like the person that was telling me to carry on was like an 80-year-old version of me, which is funny because I'm 28, but it was like the wise, the sensible person. The person that was like, stop, I saw as like 12 to 14 years old, like a grumpy teenager that wanted to stop, couldn't be bothered, that was just like constantly in your ear, annoying you. And that was the dynamic, and it's like, I was trying to listen. Imagine how active as well a 12, 14-year-old would be compared to an 80-year-old. So it was like the negativity of the younger version of me was just going crazy, where I was trying to speak from the older person, the older version of me. And I think it's such a good thing to do, like to just test your mind in those scenarios where you just don't want to do it, you want to give up, just to show yourself that you can, and you will keep going and you will do it, because it honestly is still such confidence, self-belief within yourself that no matter what you do in life after that, you will believe in yourself and you'll be like, I can do that because I did the marathon. I can do that because I did the Red Bull 400. I can do that because of X, Y, Z, whatever it may be. So I honestly couldn't recommend running enough. But yeah, with my accident, it's just so different. That's like I'd say running is more consistent, like niggling away at you, whereas my accident was more of a relaxed approach, the bigger reflective piece, the deeper stuff that you have to work through. It's a different perspective. But I'm honestly so grateful that I did the marathon again, because yes, I struggled unbelievably, but I learned so much about myself. I pushed myself to struggle way more mentally than I have in a long time, if not ever. And I think it's so important to learn all sides of you when you're pushing through and you're doing really well, or when you're struggling a lot, like how you learn to deal with stress. And I just think it's the most beautiful thing. So yeah, all of it was hell. Torture was the word. But at the same time, a lot of growth comes from those moments. So I'm really grateful that I had that. But in terms of going off on a bit of a tangent, well, I'm not. This question was kind of open, so I'm being open to my answers. But the highlights, I have so many highlights that I could just speak forever. But it mainly centers around community. Loads of you who are running, coming over, saying how much my content's helped you, because I don't think you realise how much you helped me, the support that you guys give me. Even on the day, the fact you were coming over to tell me that, even though I was alone, it made me feel less alone. And that meant the absolute world. And I just felt so lucky and grateful for that, honestly. And then the support from the crowds, you know, people, because I was wearing a running vest, it said Mill, people couldn't quite figure out my name. They were like, go Mill, which was really cute. And then people that did recognise me just going crazy, people making signs for me. The moments that I was really struggling and I was actually just like crying my eyes out, walking along like, oh my God, this is hell. Those people coming over meant so much. There was a lovely lady who was there with, I think, a friend and her child, and they had a sign for me. It was when I was walking, they had a sign for me, and it said Millie Pickles is the goat. And I literally just was crying and I was like, I love you guys. And then it meant so much to me and exactly what I needed to see and hear and feel. And then they gave me a big hug and I just cried. And then they said that I could do this, and I walked away, and then I started running. And I honestly felt like I saw my family. Like, I feel like I could cry. But it gave me so much, you know. And then like I saw a friend of mine who I've made through socials called Poppy, and she was there with her friend. And they gave me water and made a sign saying, what was it? It was something like you're a big deal, just like Millie Pickles, which I thought was really funny. And yeah, it meant so much. And I honestly can't imagine how people get through the marathon, like the elites, without many supporters, without running with anybody. It's just crazy. And I was really struggling the last 5 kilometers. And then I made a friend called Hannah, who honestly was like sent from God, the universe, to be like, here you are, baby girl, you're gonna be okay. And we decided to run the last 5K together, and she's unbelievably lovely, and she made my whole experience very special. Because if you're wanting to do a marathon but you're scared of, oh, you know, I'm a solo runner, I'm a bit worried. Honestly, even though you are alone, like I said, you don't feel like you're alone, and there are so many people that will support you and vice versa. Like, I was running past people, they're struggling to get things out of their vest. I was like, do you need me to grab anything for you? When I sat down to take my leg off, people would come and be like, do I need to do anything for you? I had really bad chafing, trying to get my Vaseline open. Some person came over and was like, let me help open it for you. Just seeing everybody come together and support one another is just the best thing in the entire world. So you really are not alone. And I can't stress that enough. So for me, it's like all those little moments that I could just keep on talking about forever, but of everybody coming together and just feeling united is what made it for me, you know? And guys, I can't express to you the happiness that I felt when I saw my family after convincing myself for 10 kilometers that they were around the corner. It was tough. When I got to 34 kilometers as well, I called my mum, I sat down and I called my mum, like, where are you? Because I didn't want to look at the maps, because I didn't want to know where they actually were, because I thought, God, if it's so far away, I'm gonna struggle. It got to a point where I was like, I actually just need to know where you are, because I'm dying here. And then they were at 37 kilometers, and I was like, how am I gonna get there? Like, every kilometer felt like hell. It went on forever, and my watch was lying to me. It was like, you're here, and I was not there. I can't express to you how much of a mental slog, strain, struggle the whole entire thing was. How much, obviously I'm in pain. I'm always in pain, but like that coupled up with the struggle mentally was just crazy. But I'm just so grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for learning more about myself. I'm grateful for all of you, the community, everybody coming together, because that is what's made it for me. Someone has asked, would I run another marathon again? Do you know what? I thought no, but now I'm a big fat yes, because I just really want to test myself, push myself, learn more about myself. The fact that I learned so much more about myself this year compared to last year, and it was such a different experience, even though it was literally the same course. Like, I'm just so intrigued what I'd learn about myself in the future. And like I mentioned, I want to raise money for Legs for Africa, now called Stand. They're formerly Legs for Africa, and just help as much as I can. I'll definitely be doing more. Maybe go for all the majors, world majors, who knows? What was the best type of training to prepare? And this is really interesting actually, because last year with London Marathon, it was just running the whole time. But as I was using Cooper, the coaches essentially advised me to do cycling on a bike and running, because cycling is lower impact for my amputated leg. So it meant that I was able to build up the strength and endurance in my legs without actually having to deal with more pain, which I thought was genius. So I would actually say a combination of those things. I also know that Steph Reed, she actually did wall sits to do the same effect essentially, which is also mental, because she, like 3-4 days before the London Marathon, went for a world record to do the longest wall sits that there ever has been for amputees, and that's an hour. So I'm like, the fact that she did that a few days before the marathon and then went on to do the marathon and got something like 3 hours 40, like a really fast time in the marathon. She is goated, oh my God, honestly. So I think doing complementary training sessions like that, not just running the whole time, actually is really good for amputees. What else is there? So after the race, where did you keep your wheelchair? That is awesome, you had your wheels. So obviously, as I mentioned, Jake was looking after my wheelchair, following me around, but Jake was like, look, I'm here to support you, but I know that you will want Liam at the end. So Liam finished before me because he was doing his own race. Jake gave him my wheelchair, and then Liam met me at the end. I'm gonna insert the clip here of when we first found and saw each other. Oh my God, there he is, look at him go. My little Labrador puppy. Oh my God, oh my God.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh my God.
Oh my golly gumdrop. I
love you. Oh my God.
Darling, you're a fucking superstar.
No, you're the superstar.
You're the superstar.
Someone's asked, would you run another with other people? If that's what you'd like me to do, absolutely. If you're interested in running a marathon with me, comment below and let me know. Firstly, that's my first question. Second question is, after meeting Madison, the little girl that made Millie Pickles is the goat, with her mum who hugged me and I hugged her. lovely moment. Speaking to them made me think, hang on a minute, I should do like a run club for children as well. So if you are interested in that, that's my second question, please also comment and let me know below, because I can sort both of those things. So there's demand there, I will do it. How long did it take me to finish, and will I do it again? So it took me 5 hours 52 minutes on the chip time, but actually I think my moving time was about 5 hours 15, which I'm very proud of, because last year I did it in 6 hours 57 minutes. And this year I did it less, even though it was horrific weather. But I just think last year's sub 7, this year's sub 6, next year sub 5. There are honestly so many questions, and I feel like I'm probably overlapping my answers. Am I okay? Is my body okay? I've kind of answered that. Someone's asked, how did you stay cool? I got so hot. I have no idea what made you think I stayed cool, but I was boiling, I was sweating, I was dripping. I don't know if it's because my makeup always looks quite flawless, but I don't get that red when I run. I don't know why. I just don't, trust me, I was hot. So there are so many questions, but I feel like I've kind of answered them all as I really banged on. But if you have any more questions that you'd like to know, comment them below and I can respond. I'm just looking through them all now on the phone. But yeah, I think just for the next few days, I am going to be in my wheelchair, waiting for my leg to heal, eating good food, but also some chocolate, because your gal deserves it. And just trying to get as much content out for you all as possible, because yeah, it was a crazy, crazy time. So grateful, so grateful, so grateful. Like, honestly, just grateful for everything, the experience, the support, the love, all of it. I hope this video has actually inspired you to start running and testing your mind, testing your boundaries, learning more about yourself, because it is honestly life-changing.